It's time for America Outdoors Radio, the show that covers the outdoor scene across the U.S. of A. and the entire continent. Fishing, hunting, conservation, outdoor recreation, and great destinations. We cover it all every week. It's your country, your outdoors. Let's explore it together with your host, John Kruse.
Winter and Sportsman show season continues here in our United States, and I've been to more than my fair share of shows this year, to include where I'm at this weekend, exhibiting in the place I call home at the Wenatchee Valley Sportsman Show in Washington State. A lot of you go to these sportsman shows because you want to book a trip. It might be a one-day guided fishing trip within a day's drive, or it could be a week-long expedition to somewhere more exotic, like an Alaska lodge, a Canadian hunting camp, or maybe even an African safari. It's a good idea. Outfitters often offer sportsman show specials that are better deals than what you'll find on their websites, and better still, you'll get to meet the person you may be spending a day or a week with and figure out if you really want to spend a day or week with that person. You can also ask all sorts of questions and compare at any given show. There's going to be multiple outfitters offering similar adventures, so bounce between their booths and ask those comparison questions like, is fish processing included in this package? What does the additional airfare cost? Are there other hidden costs not addressed? You can also figure out the best time to go for exactly what you're after. Let's say you want to go salmon fishing. Are you after quality or quantity? Trust me, the timing of your trip matters when it comes to answering that question. Finally, here's a few more tips about booking that adventure. Don't try to do this on the Saturday or Sunday morning of the show if you can avoid it. That's typically the most crowded time that you're going to find at any sportsman show, and there's lots of people vying for that outfitter's attention, and the noise from the crowds can make conversations pretty difficult. If you have to go on the weekend, go later in the day after the crowds die down, but if you can pull it off, go during a weekday when you can really take the time to have some serious talks. Another tip, go on that weekday like we suggested. Do your research online about that outfitter to include reviews from others who have gone with him or her, and then come back on Sunday. First off, that outfitter might be offering a Sunday special if he or she didn't book as many trips as they hoped to at the show. And second, you can ask any remaining questions you have before plopping down your money for a deposit to reserve your very own adventure. And now, you're better armed with knowledge before you attend your next sportsman show. Speaking of adventures worth booking, we've definitely got one to tell you about today. You'll find it at Sportsman's Cove Lodge on Prince of Wales Island in southeast Alaska, and the owner of this first-class facility, where service comes first, is Larry McQuarrie, a.k.a. Captain Mack, who's going to explain exactly what this means when it comes to your Alaska fishing lodge experience. Another thing you'll find at sportsman shows are new products to check out and buy. One game changer unveiled at the Pacific Northwest Sportsman Show in Portland this year is a sliding rail mount for your fishing boat from Fish Fighter Products. Chuck Ceccarelli, the president of this innovative Idaho-based company, will tell you more about it in a few minutes. In addition to this, we've got a couple of stories for you on our Trail of Shame segment. And if you ever wondered what it takes to become a Bass Pro, we can help you find out when we chat with Clayton Batts. He hails from Macon, Georgia. He fishes the Fishing League Worldwide Bass Circuit, and he'll share not only his story of how he got there, but also give you some advice that may help you get there too. Before we talk about all this, though, we are heading to the Golden State of California to talk a little fishing. Next up on America Outdoors Radio, we're talking to Gary Miralles. He's the founder of Shasta Tackle Company, which has been acquired by Mack's Lure Company, and he's working with Mack's now, promoting kokanee fishing and trout fishing too, and he knows all about it, especially when it comes to fishing the waters of Northern California. Gary, great to have you back on the show.
It's great to see you, and we're having a great time here at the show as usual. A lot of fun meeting a lot of the folks and just enjoying it.
Oh, absolutely. Well, the Pacific Northwest Sportsman Show in Portland is the biggest show west of the Mississippi. A lot of people came through the doors yesterday. We're going to see even more today. But I wanted to take a little bit of time and talk about some of these Northern California lakes that you love to fish for trout and kokanee. And let's talk about fishing them during this February, March, April time frame. And we'll start off with kokanee. What are some of your favorite waters?
Well, the droughts in the last few years in California created some issues there on some of those fisheries. The one fishery in mine that is really doing well down there that has survived kind of the drought is Whiskeytown Lake. It's one of the few lakes that has a natural reproduction in there, and that lake is kicking out some pretty decent fish right now, 15 inchers, which could end up being 17 inchers this summer. And they're catching decent fish there right now. So, yeah, if I had to bring up one lake in Northern Cal this year, it's probably Whiskeytown is going to be the most talked about.
It's funny. When kokanee fishing first took off about 10 years ago, folks were so excited just to get a limit of 7 to 9 inch kokanee. And now it really takes a 15-inch plus kokanee to turn somebody's head anymore.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Well, after the world record was broke and, almost a 10-pound fish there, everybody's thinking, well, where can I get those bigger fish? And it's amazing how guys will travel hours just to get to that one lake because you might have an 18 or 19 inch in there and your home lake has only got 14, 15. So.
Oh, I know. And, a funny aside, I was actually at Wallowa Lake in Northeast Oregon the day that world record kokanee was caught. And I was actually fishing with my daughter at the state park. She was reeling in trout from the marina there, and somebody showed me a cell phone photo of this monstrous kokanee in a cooler and said, I think it's the next world record, and it was. So there's my almost claim to fame as I was there the day it happened, though I didn't see it caught.
Yeah, and that's something. Yeah, in fact, Ron Campbell, the gentleman that caught that fish, was here at the show yesterday, and he stopped by when I was doing my seminar on the tank, and I was able to introduce him to the folks there. That's one lake that you hear a lot about. Wallowa Lake, tell us about it. And unfortunately, that lake cycles a lot. It's amazing that you can pull such quality fish out of there, and then a few years later down the road, the fish just aren't that size anymore.
Good news, though, about that lake is that it's coming back. So I've got some contacts there, and the lake is coming back. I know this year they're also expecting a lot of those 14, 15-inch kokanee. But let's get back to California.
That's one of the things Ron had mentioned, that they were catching larger fish in there again. So that's good. I like to hear that.
Well, you and me both. So in terms of Whiskeytown Lake, let's talk about how to catch those kokanee there, especially this time of year as the water's, cool, but just starting to warm up.
Yeah. Well, like any of the lakes, the winter, it depends on how cold it is and the water temperature on the surface, of course. And one of the things that I tell folks when you get out early in the year is you've got to look for that water temperature. And a lot of times you want to go back into the areas where you've got more shallower water because those areas tend to warm sooner. And of course, the fish will migrate to those spots. I mean, you can be out on a lake and not catch a darn thing and then all of a sudden end up in another end and it's shallow back there and the water temperature is just 2-3 degrees warmer and you're going to get into fish.
And when it comes to depth, depending on who you talk to, depending on the fishery, they can be anywhere from the surface all the way down to 60 or 120 feet. Where are you finding them on Whiskeytown Lake this time of year?
Well, there's a marina area, it's Oak Bottom. I guided on that lake for quite a few years, and I always started off early part of the season over there. There again, we have a lot of shallow areas back in there, water warms sooner, and the fish are going to be relatively shallow. And when I say shallow, they're going to be surface down to 10 feet. Now, it's obvious we get out there, you got your electronics on. If you're not marking fish, below the boat somewhere, obviously they're somewhere. They're going to be up on the surface. And top lining, just get back behind the boat, a couple hundred feet, and put any of your favorite kokanee lures out there, and you're going to catch some fish.
Well, let's talk about your favorite kokanee lures. You certainly know a lot about those. I assume you're trolling something behind a Dodger or Flasher. Exactly what are you using?
Well, I like sling blades, of course.
I would imagine since you developed them that you do.
Yeah. So I've almost always got a sling blade on, and I like to run, a slower speed this time of year because when the water's cooler, the fish aren't quite as active. So I like to run lures with big actions like a crippler, which rolls and spins a lot at very slow speeds. It creates a lot of action without that speed element. So I'll run those a lot in the early part of the year. And as well as, you can run lures like a wiggle hoochie behind that, which you can run them slow and they have a good little wiggling action to them as well. But, pretty much any of your great kokanee lures can do the job for you, but those are a couple to draw to.
we are unfortunately out of time. Didn't even get to the trout, but we will take care of that next time we get you on the air. In the meantime, folks, if you want to find out more about kokanee lures to use in a lake near you in the western United States, just go to the Mack's Lure website. That's MACKSlure.com, MaxLure.com. You'll find all of the former Shasta Tackle products there and all of the Mack's products there. Tons of stuff for catching kokanee near you. Gary, always a pleasure to have you on the show.
It's great to see you as always. Thanks a bunch.
If you consider yourself a hardcore fisherman who takes pride in being the first person on the water and the last one off, Fish Fighter products were designed for you. We make products for the relentless fishermen who know that big fish are caught by those who put in the work. With our Relentless Series tackle trays, rocket launcher rod racks, and breakaway river anchors, you'll spend more time chasing the fish, not your gear. Designed and built right here in the USA, Fish Fighter products won't let you down. Gear up at fishfighterproducts.com.
I'd like to welcome a new sponsor to our show. It's Sportsman's Cove Lodge, and many anglers who have been there will tell you it really is Alaska's best lodge. Sportsman's Cove Lodge sits on a salmon highway full of kings and silvers. There's halibut too, and there are some really big ones. Finally, with decades of experience taking care of customers, Sportsman's Cove Lodge knows how to treat you right from start to finish. Ready to book your trip of a lifetime? Then call Sportsman's Cove Lodge at 800-962-7889. That's 800-962-7889. 800-962-7889 for Sportsman's Cove Lodge. Welcome back to America Outdoors Radio. I'm John Kruse, and for our next segment, we're taking you to Prince of Wales Island in Alaska. That's where we're going to talk to Larry McQuarrie, also known as Captain Mack, the founder and owner of Sportsman's Cove Lodge there. Mack, great to have you on the show.
Good morning, John. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, and I think I'm going to be doing even more fantastic, as will our listeners, when they hear more about Sportsman's Cove Lodge. Tell us all a little bit more about exactly where you're located and how folks get there.
Oh, yeah. Good question, John, because that's probably the first thing people ask us. We are located in southeast Alaska, first of all, so that's the Alaska Panhandle, the closest place in Alaska to the lower 48. And our gateway is Ketchikan, which is the first city in Alaska. So we are about 30 miles straight due west of Ketchikan on the inside shore of Prince of Wales Island. And closest place in Alaska to the lower 48, only 90 minutes by jet, and there's 6 non-stops a day out of Seattle to Ketchikan. And then it's about a 20-minute float plane ride, which is the highlight of the trip for a lot of people, that float plane ride, because that's the only way to get there. About a 20-minute float plane ride from Ketchikan over to the lodge.
Well, that sounds easy to me, and it sounds fun, too. And here's the next question I have for you, Mac. You know, if you go to a sportsman show, especially one of the big ones, you're going to see a slew of lodges and charters and outfitters from Alaska, all the way from Bristol Bay down towards Ketchikan. What makes Sportsman's Cove Lodge different than the rest?
Oh, so many things. And I get asked that a lot. And I guess there's what it comes down to when I start answering this question is there isn't any other place like us that we're aware of anyway. First of all, I guess it's the service orientation that our business is built upon. We have a fun little saying, you're only allowed to lift 3 things while you're here. That's your knife and fork, your fishing rod, and your beer. And, and that kind of sums it up. I also sum it up some ways sometimes by saying it's like a dude ranch for fishermen. And a dude ranch maybe has a little negative connotation to it, but it's a full-service place. Everything's done for you. And we have a staff of 32 people.
Wow.
For only 30 guests, and our staff are all very carefully handpicked and trained. We don't just yard them off the street and throw them into the job. They go through background checks, drug tests, all kinds of stuff. In fact, one of the bad jokes amongst the staff is that the processing for hiring takes longer than the season itself, and that's actually true. So they're not just anybody, and there's more of us than there are of guests. So that, I guess, tells you a little bit about our commitment to taking care of our people. And notice that we call them guests and not clients, not customers. They are guests, and that's the way we treat them. So that's kind of one of the big differences, I think. Fish Alaska magazine wrote a front page article about us a couple years back. The title of the article was "It's All in the Details," and it talks about how organized everything is and how smoothly the place runs. And I think that comes from years and years of being in the business, a lot of years. Another thing that's quite different, I think, from other places is that you don't lose a half a day of fishing or a full day of fishing on your turnaround day, on the day you arrive and the day you leave. If you book a 3-day fishing package, it's a full 3 days of fishing.
Wow.
Or a 4-day package, it's the same thing. You do not forfeit a half a day of fishing, coming and going like many other places. We've got that nailed down. We turn the whole lodge around in about an hour at the end of the last day of fishing. And this will be Sportsman's Cove Lodge's 29th year. We're looking forward to next year. It'll be our 30-year anniversary. Something else that's maybe a little different from us is that we have an in-house travel department with its own toll-free line, and folks that man our travel department are experts in Alaska, first of all, and they can follow your itinerary. And if you run into a travel problem, you have a delay somewhere, or a maintenance issue or something, when the airplane's late, they'll be following you, and they'll pick up your itinerary and reroute you or do whatever it takes to get you taken care of and back on your way. I think one of the things, maybe the biggest thing that makes us different and I hope special, is the hands-on aspect of our operation. Patty and I, my wife and I, are immersed. We're buried in every detail of the operation. We are there all day long. I'm the fleet captain. I've run a charter boat forever, every day. And my captains are the first persons to greet you as your float plane pulls up onto the dock, and last ones to see you when you say goodbye. And we are with you almost all of your waking hours. So, we're your hosts at the breakfast table. We're your hosts at the dinner table. We're with you all day long on the boat. And our guests are more friends than guests over the years. I mean, 85% of our people return each year, or each year's composition is comprised of 85% of the people who have been there before.
That is an incredible turnaround.
Those are, some of the things that I think make us a little different than most other places.
All right. Well, Mack, I'll tell you what. I had a whole slew of questions to ask you. We got through one of them on this interview, so we're gonna have you
about the lodge all day.
That's all right. We're gonna have you back again next week to do it again. But before we go, let's give folks a website so they can find out more about booking a stay at Sportsman's Cove Lodge in Southeast Alaska on Prince of Wales Island. And folks, if you're looking for great fishing, for salmon, for halibut, for bottom fish, this is the place to go to. Mack, what's the website?
Well, it's really easy. alaskasbestlodge.com, and we are Alaska's Best Lodge. We're proud of that, and that's our website address. Don't forget the S after Alaska. It's Alaska and the possessive. alaskasbestlodge.com. There's a toll-free 800-962-7889. We'd love to talk to you. 800-962-7889.
And if you didn't get that number, don't worry. Just remember the website for Sportsman's Cove Lodge. It's alaskasbestlodge.com. That's alaskasbestlodge.com. Check out this full-service lodge. And as you just heard, there's a lot that separates it from the competition. Mack, we'll talk to you again next week.
You bet, John.
I'd like to welcome a new sponsor to our show. It's Sportsman's Cove Lodge, and many anglers who have been there will tell you it really is Alaska's best lodge. Sportsman's Cove Lodge sits on a salmon highway full of kings and silvers. There's halibut too, and there are some really big ones. Finally, with decades of experience taking care of customers, Sportsman's Cove Lodge knows how to treat you right from start to finish. Ready to book your trip of a lifetime? Then call Sportsman's Cove Lodge at 800-962-7889. That's 800-962-7889. 800-962-7889 for Sportsman's Cove Lodge.
Looking to reel in the marketing opportunity of a lifetime? Then set the hook, because we've got it right here. America Outdoors Radio has sponsorships available, and we offer an affordable platform to reach thousands of listeners interested in fishing, hunting, and the outdoors. Find out more by contacting host John Kruse through his website at AmericanOutdoorsRadio.com. That's AmericaOutdoorsRadio.com. But hurry, if you wait too long, this big opportunity might just get away. That's AmericaOutdoorsRadio.com.
Backcountry Hunters and Anglers, a nationwide group working to keep public lands in public hands so future generations can enjoy what we enjoy. Join the group that makes a difference. Check us out at backcountryhunters.org.
You're back with America Outdoors Radio. I'm John Kruse, and folks are starting to report for spring training. It's that time of year where you might get out that old movie, The Natural, where that middle-aged guy becomes a rookie and for one magical season makes it in the big leagues. Well, that holds true for bass fishing too. There's professional bass anglers out there, and you listening today might want to be one of them. We're going to give you some advice on exactly how to do that. Our guest is Clayton Batts. He hails from Macon, Georgia. He's been fishing the Fishing League Worldwide, or FLW, Bass Tour since 2014. Clayton, welcome to the show.
Hey, how y'all doing today?
Clayton, I'm doing great. And you know what? You have had a good career since 2014. Since you broke into the circuit as a rookie, you've earned over $145,000 since then. Why don't you tell our listeners your journey from becoming just a kid who loved to go bass fishing to actually getting on the FLW Bass Tour?
I grew up in Macon, Georgia. I lived with my mom and dad, and I stayed a bunch of summers with my aunt and my uncle, and that's who really introduced me to fishing. And she's 93 right now, and she'll still go sit on the bank with you all day. From there, I moved on up, and just like with baseball, like you were mentioning earlier, there's a bunch of steps you can take, and there's even more steps that are available now to younger anglers. But FLW does a great job at providing those steps for you to be able to move on up to fish the tour. I would suggest people start out fishing the BFLs. Those are mainly local and regional tournaments. Then you'd move up to the Costa Series. And I would suggest while you're fishing the Costa Series to at least try to fish one or two of the tour tournaments at the back of the boat, or either sign up for a couple of elite series where you can be in the back of the boat there and you're learning from different anglers. That's a great learning curve, and it takes years and years of learning just by spending 2 or 3 days with a guy that does this every day. I would keep moving up with it until you feel comfortable that you can be in the front of the boat. The biggest mistake I see between people, younger guys and older guys, is trying to take that transition too fast. And if you take that transition too fast, you're paying somebody else's house payment.
That's a good way to put it. You know, I've actually seen a few folks who have made this jump, you know, from basically going from the local bass club to trying to go pro, and it's not gone well, and it's exactly what you're talking about, trying to make that transition too fast. Now, let's talk a little bit more about this, because there's a lot of good sticks out there on the water that may not be fishing tournaments, but I'm guessing it takes a lot more than just being able to catch fish on a consistent basis out of your home lake to actually become a pro.
Yes, sir. Most of the time, I mean, you see a bunch of anglers at their home lake. I mean, they're known as the stick there, and, they win about every tournament that comes there, and they're just well known within that community. Well, basically, when we go to a lake, I have 3 days to figure out a lake, whereas one of those local guys, they've been fishing that whole lake their whole life. They know every stump, every ditch, every rock pile, and it's more of a pattern deal, where you have to be able to figure stuff out really, really fast, where you can't rely on those years and years of information if you spending that time on the water.
I'm guessing you can't exactly be a one-trick pony when it comes to being a bass pro either, in terms of you fish crankbaits real well and that's your thing and you don't fish anything else.
Correct. You got to be very, very versatile. Like, I'm on a 3-week tournament spree right now. I'm going to the Harris Chain in Florida. I'm going to stop at Seminole to fish at Costa, and then I'm going to Lake Lanier in North Georgia. I'm going from catching them on the bed in grass and 2 or 3 feet of water to getting up on Lanier, and I'll be catching them, 40 feet up there. So you have to be very, very versatile and be able to fish all depths and be confident enough to be able to go do it when you get there.
Something else, if you watch TV and you watch the weigh-ins, it's all so glamorous. The boat is all clean and there's the nice clean truck towing it in, and there's, somebody like you in the back of the boat holding up a couple of bass. But the reality of the tournament trail isn't so glamorous. It's a lot of hard work, isn't it?
It's extremely a whole lot of work. When I leave, you leave your family and friends. I'll be gone for, like I said, about a month this time. I'll be home a couple of weeks, and then I'll be back on the road. But, it's a lot of stress on all your family, friends, and plus, we can get into another side of this. Fishing has came such a long ways in probably the last, I'd say, 10 years, where it's not necessarily that you have to win and catch fish, but there's also a whole different side to it with the marketing aspect of it. You have to be able to market yourself and stand out and be able to do something a little bit different to be able to promote product.
Well, and I guess that's where the sponsorships come in, because it's not like you can be like Ricky Bobby in Talladega Nights and have a shirt that says sponsored by me and expect to be successful. You need some backing, whether it be for your boat, whether it be for your tackle or your rods, whether it be for some expenses on the road. And the sponsors, they expect a return, don't they, besides just winning?
Correct. If you can't show a sponsor a return on their investment, you might have them for 1 year, but you're not going to consistently have that sponsor coming back year after year. In the fishing industry, it seems big, but it's extremely small. So if you get a bad reputation of being one of those anglers where you're not showing much interest in the product, not promoting it on social media, magazine articles, and you're willing to really, really work for that sponsor, then word of mouth in the industry, it goes and carries a long way. And once you lose that one and get that reputation of not being able to work for them, then they'll tell your next guy that you might be working on. And it kind of carries on from there.
Clayton, you just spilled one of the biggest secrets in the fishing industry, the outdoors industry. Folks, if you read the magazines, if you watch TV, like Clayton said, you think it's a huge, huge industry, but it's not. And you meet a lot of the same people wearing different hats at different times, and word does get out in a hurry, especially about those guides and those pros that are one-offs, that basically come to you asking for a lot of stuff, and they don't give you anything in return. So that's some great advice there. Clayton, we've been talking about sponsors and the folks that help you out. Why don't you tell our listeners who they are before you go?
Yes, sir. My sponsors and the ones that really back me, I even call these marketing partners, because I like to be able to show the return on investment for them, and I like for sponsorship kind of sounds like, there's a donation, and I don't consider it that. I consider it more of a partnership where I can sell products for them and they can back me for doing it. Foam Coolers, that's my main sponsor this year. Savage Gear, Ardent Reels, Strike Zone Lures, Carbon Skim Products, Superfish Bait Company, and Bass Boats for Sale.
There you go. Those are the folks that are helping Clayton out on the trail. And again, gives you some ideas of what you're going to need if you want to make that jump as well. Any last parting advice you'd like to give any aspiring pros before we go?
I'd say, especially for the younger kids now, there's a bunch of different avenues of going pro. I'd start out by fishing your high school club, then fishing. You can actually have college clubs now that are grown. That's huge. One of the things in college, I'd make sure if you're trying to focus on a fishing career, go get a degree in marketing or business management and take as many computer classes as you can. Every elective, if I could do it over again, every elective I took would be computer classes. just because, I mean, right now you do have a bunch of pros that are out here that don't handle any of their social media, and they don't do any of the videos or anything like that. And there's more classes you can take at college to learn that. You're essentially saving you more money, and you're making your profile look a whole lot better.
That's some great and unexpected advice on becoming a pro in the bass fishing world from Clayton Batts. If you want to follow him on the tournament trail, just go to the Fishing League Worldwide website and look for Clayton Batts. It's Batts. He's a busy fisherman. He's a good one. And as you just heard, he's got a lot going for him when it comes to this whole industry. You can also follow Clayton on Facebook at Clayton Batts Fishing. That's a great place to follow what he's doing. Clayton, thanks so much for sharing all of this with us today on America Outdoors Radio.
I appreciate it, sir.
I'd like to welcome a new sponsor to our show. It's Sportsman's Cove Lodge, and many anglers who have been there will tell you it really is Alaska's best lodge. Sportsman's Cove Lodge sits on a salmon highway full of kings and silvers. There's halibut too, and there are some really big ones. Finally, with decades of experience taking care of customers, Sportsman's Cove Lodge knows how to treat you right from start to finish. Ready to book your trip of a lifetime? Then call Sportsman's Cove Lodge at 800-962-7889. That's 800-962-7889. 800-962-7889 for Sportsman's Cove Lodge.
Where can you find 4 rivers, 3 great fisheries, 2 majestic mountains, and 1 fantastic adventure all year round? Sensational The Dalles. Active community, authentic food, and great beer. ExploreTheDalles.com. Come and create your own adventure, and maybe even you can hook a river monster in the Dalles.
There's no more majestic, magical, adventuresome country than the western United States of America to enjoy a great family vacation. Hello, I'm Mark Hemstreet, owner of Shiloh Inns. Shiloh Inns are still offering affordable 4-star accommodations at 2-star prices. Enjoy deluxe smoke-free suites, spacious pools and spas, and fully equipped fitness centers. From free high-speed internet in every room to a free continental breakfast or full, hot, delicious breakfast at most Shiloh Inns. There are no hidden fees like some of the big chain hotels charge. Even the kids stay free, and Shiloh Inns are dog-friendly. For reservations, call 1-800-222-2244 or visit our website at shilohinns.com. Shiloh Inns, affordable excellence. American family-owned and proud of it.
Looking to reel in the marketing opportunity of a lifetime? Then set the hook, because we've got it right here. America Outdoors Radio has sponsorships available, and we offer an affordable platform to reach thousands of listeners interested in fishing, hunting, and the outdoors. Find out more by contacting host John Kruse through his website at AmericanOutdoorsRadio.com. That's AmericaOutdoorsRadio.com. But hurry, if you wait too long, this big opportunity might just get away. That's AmericaOutdoorsRadio.com.
If you consider yourself a hardcore fisherman who takes pride in being the first person on the water and the last one off, Fish Fighter products were designed for you. Fish Fighter products are used by the top fishing guides in the Northwest because they know having the right equipment is imperative to a successful fishing trip. With our Relentless Series tackle trays, rocket launcher rod racks, and breakaway river anchors, you'll spend more time chasing the fish, not your gear. Designed and built right here in the USA. Gear up at fishfighterproducts.com.
I'm Ward Burton. Think that's fast? That's nothing compared to how fast America is losing its wildlife habitat. Join the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation and help us protect millions of acres. Visit elkfoundation.org or call 1-800-CALL-ELK.
Next on America Outdoors Radio, we continue to broadcast from the Pacific Northwest Sportsman Show in Portland, Oregon, and we are visiting with one of our sponsors, Fish Fighter Products out of Mountain Home, Idaho. They got a huge booth here because they're rolling out some brand new products. And if you're an angler and you have a boat, you're going to be really interested in what we're about to tell you about. With us here to tell you more about something that's going to really change how you fish off your boat is the president of Fish Fighter Products, Chuck Ceccarelli. Chuck, great to have you back on the show.
Great morning, John. Thanks for having me. You know, it's been real exciting winter for us at Fish Fighter. We've been working on developing new products, and we came to the Portland show and we're debuting two of our new products, and the first of them is our sliding rail system, which allows you to take just about any style of boat and add a sliding rail system to the gunnel so that you can mount your rod holders, your tackle trays, and a whole bunch of different products to the side of your boat and be able to quickly pull them in and move them from forward or aft on your boat and place everything exactly where you want it.
The thing I love about your company and the thing I love about your products is you're a hardcore fisherman. The people that work with you, a lot of them are in the same boat, literally, pun intended there, but you're always looking at building a better mousetrap. And as we both know, most boat owners, they drill some holes in the rail or in the gunnel, and that's where that item is going to sit forever, and it may not always be convenient to be there. So this is really a great idea.
Yeah, and, you know, a lot of this stuff comes from some of these guides out on the Northwest. You know, right across from our booth right now is Cody Herman, and I fish with Cody quite a bit. Austin Moser from Austin's Northwest Adventures, and these guys are, as we're fishing, everybody's saying, like, wow, wouldn't it be neat if I could move my rod holder just a little bit forward? And, you know, I guess the people that fish a lot, we really understand the importance of being able to position one rod 12 inches more forward for salmon fishing or 12 inches back for kokanee fishing. And having all of them choices really starts to separate you, especially when the fishing's tough. And that's what we're all about, is finding solutions to everyday problems, but also making them easy to install. You know, our systems, we try to keep them very simplistic in design so that not only are they easy to install, but we want them to last for generations.
That is a hallmark of what you produce, is not only is it innovative, it's tough. And on this rail here, I just want to briefly talk about some of the products you have here that any guide or any serious fisherman is going to want to probably have on board. And this is kind of what I call your Pacific Northwest setup, because you've got not just the rod holder, but a couple of other things that salmon anglers or sturgeon anglers or anyone else who's using weights and fish for bait is going to want to have on their boat.
Oh, absolutely. And the people that are really coming on is the walleye fishermen. Bass fishermen are finding a great use in our tackle trays because everything's about speed, you know, more casts per day, getting more casts and being very efficient. So what we've done is we've designed these rails in two different styles. One is a flat mount, so you can mount it along the inside of your gunnel, or you can mount it on top of your gunnels.
That is a great idea. You see, just looking at the display, I thought it was just meant to go one way, not both ways.
Yeah, you know, and we're not the first to the industry with this, but we believe we're the first with a system that really works. I mean, we designed ours out of 2-inch wide extruded aluminum so that when you're sliding our mounting block back and forth, there's a lot of strength on it. You know, you hang a 9-foot ugly stick off the end, sturgeon fishing with a GT330 reel, 60 pounds test line with a 20-ounce sinker on the end. That's a lot of torque on your rod holder, and you need something that's going to hold up. We also offer it now in a round mount. So if you have hand railings on your boat and they just clamp right to 1 inch or 1 1/4 round rod, we offer them in 2-foot, 3-foot, 6-foot, and 8-foot lengths.
And the other thing that I think is great is the price point, folks, much less than what you would think it is. I mean, all of this is less than $90. The most expensive one is $90. You can get them for as little as $40. That's MSRP price. The last question is, where can folks get them?
Yeah, currently the best place to buy them is at fishfighterproducts.com.
That's fishfighterproducts.com for the sliding rail system that's really going to make your fishing on your boat more efficient and a lot easier for you day in and day out. Check it out, fishfighterproducts.com. Chuck, we're going to go ahead next week and talk about the next new thing you're rolling out here at the show.
Yep, and I'm real excited to share that with you.
It's time for the Trail of Shame.
Shame, shame on you. Shame, shame on you.
Stories of poachers, scoundrels, and other ne'er-do-wells, so if you see someone committing a criminal act on the water or in the field, turn them in. It's the right thing to do.
You've heard of politicians renting apartments in towns or districts while living elsewhere, all for the purpose of getting elected where they're renting. Well, now we'll tell you about someone who did the same thing, not to get elected, but to draw a coveted Utah bighorn sheep tag. From the Outdoor Wire, we learn Larry Altimus, a well-known Arizona hunting guide, won't be hunting in Utah or 46 other states for that matter anytime soon. In addition to losing his hunting privileges for the next 10 years, the guide and outfitter has paid more than $30,000 in fines and restitution. Here's what happened. Altimus had been putting in for a desert bighorn sheep permit for 21 years, but as a non-resident, his odds of getting it were really, really low. So he decided to really increase his odds. In August of 2013, he rented a house in Utah. In March of 2014, he used that address to apply for one of the 10 desert bighorn sheep permits available to Utah residents that year. He drew the permit that spring, and then, a month after he drew that permit, he moved back to Arizona. In October, Altimus came to Utah, where he killed a huge desert bighorn ram using this fraudulently obtained permit. Last summer, a jury found Altimus guilty of wanton destruction of protected wildlife, namely this trophy desert bighorn, which is a felony in the state. Altimus was sentenced in January, and while a fine of 30+ grand hurts, I mean really hurts, the inability to hunt in 47 states for 10 years probably hurts even more and will likely put a real dent in his guiding career, if not putting him out of business. Meanwhile, in a bordering state, authorities are looking for a moose poacher, and it's in a state, I've got to admit, I didn't know had any moose in it. The state in question is Nevada, which, much to my surprise, has between 25 and 40 moose roaming around this arid and seemingly un-moose-like habitat. Unfortunately, 3 of these moose have been illegally killed in the last 3 years. According to the Associated Press, the latest was a moose found about 20 miles south of Jarbidge, a community just south of the Idaho state line. That moose was located on Christmas Day, and someone took the animal's head with them. Several individuals and groups have gotten together in the wake of that horrific discovery to pony up a $10,000 reward for information leading to the arrest of the person or persons responsible for this latest Nevada moose poaching. If you have any information, please contact Fish and Game authorities in Nevada. They need a break to crack this case. And as for these poachers and guide Larry Altimus, congratulations. This week, you are walking our trail of shame.
Shame on you.
Time does fly when you're having fun, and I truly wish I had more than an hour to spend with you today, but I don't. So let me direct you to a few places where you can get your outdoors fix in the week ahead. Your first stop is our website at AmericaOutdoorsRadio.com, and don't forget to like and follow our Facebook page, also found at America Outdoors Radio. You can hear us online on the Talk America Radio Network. It's the new conservative voice for talk radio. That website, talkamericaradio.us. We're on every Saturday morning, 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch us on the go and on demand through the Podbean app. Simply subscribe to America Outdoors Radio. And you can do the same through YouTube. Our channel there is Northwestern Outdoors. That's one word, where you can catch this show and our regional show. We'll be back next week with another hour of fishing, hunting, conservation, and the shooting sports. Until then, I do hope you are blessed, and I do hope you get out there in this wintry to spring weather for a little bit of outdoors fun. Remember, it is your country and your outdoors.
Backcountry Hunters and Anglers, a nationwide group working to keep public lands in public hands. We've helped ban the use of drones for hunting. We help repair wildlife corridors in key riparian areas. We speak up against illegal ATV use. Please join this dynamic conservation group. Check us out at backcountryhunters.org.